Hey guys, it's Home from Wrestling Inc. back with another wrestling news roundup. Without any further ado, let's get into today's biggest stories in the world of professional wrestling. Becky Lynch does not believe AEW's women's division is as good as WWE's. WWE superstar Becky Lynch recently spoke with Featured Cut of the Day about the growth in WWE's women's division. She made it clear that Triple H was a huge driving factor in that, as he did not treat the women any differently than the men. Quote, "First of all, Triple H never treated us like we were any different than the guys," she stated. "Always made sure we were represented on NXT with great stories, with time, with opportunity. And it just grew from there, and it was a spark. I think once we proved that we were capable of hanging with the guys and we were capable of stealing the show. It just shows people there should be no difference. There should be no reason that I'm not the main event. And there should be no reason that we are not getting stories and not getting the time. Not being in the position to entertain the crowd in the way that we have been in the past few years." Becky Lynch was then asked if AEW's women's division pushes her even more. She does not think that is the case, simply because she does not think the AEW women's division is as good as WWE's. Quote, "So, I wish I could, yes, but unfortunately, I don't think they're represented the way that we are. They don't get as much time as we get, and frankly, they're not as good as we are," she said. "Certainly on Raw, we have the best women's division in the world. I say that without any hesitation in my voice. We have the best women's division in the world. Competition is great, and it's great for there to be another place. And I have a very good friend in Ruby Soho over there. I would love to see her as a champion one day. I would love to see her getting the spotlight that she deserves. Competition is always great, but over here we are on another level right now. Man, we're on another level." LA Knight reportedly done with WWE NXT. LA Knight is reportedly finished with the WWE NXT brand. A new report from Fightful Select notes that there are no plans moving forward for Knight in NXT. Knight is already considered to be a main roster superstar following his recent SmackDown Dark match appearances. Knight's last NXT 2.0 match came at Stand and Deliver during WrestleMania 38 weekend when he took a loss to Gunther, who has also since been called up to SmackDown. It looks like Knight will now be coming to the main roster with his new Knight Model Management stable. As noted, the April 15 SmackDown Dark match saw Knight serve as the manager to former Retribution member Mace, who was apparently using the name Face. The tryout process saw Knight cut a promo while wearing a suit, declaring that he was launching Knight Model Management, and the former Mace, who also had a new look, was his first client. Face ended up defeating Eric of the Viking Raiders thanks to a distraction by Knight. The April 15 Dark promo included Knight talking about how he saved up his money from finding success in front of the camera, so now he's starting the model management group, which he called a premier talent agency. Knight said his agency is officially scouting models, but he looked around Worcester and decided that, quote, "None of you incels can possibly qualify." That's when he introduced Face, who came out with a suit on, his hand up, and sneakers on. The Knight model management tryout continued before last Friday's SmackDown from Albany, New York. That pre-show segment saw Mansoor accompany Knight to the ring this time. Knight introduced Mace again, but now called him Mace the Face, and then cut another promo to hype him up in his stable. Backstage news on Mustafa Ali's WWE Raw return. WWE reportedly changed plans for Mustafa Ali's return to action on this week's Raw. As noted, this week's Raw saw Ali make his first WWE TV appearance since last October. This came after Ali requested his WWE release in January but was denied, which came following a creative dispute with WWE Chairman and CEO Vince McMahon. For this week's Raw return, Ali interrupted The Miz and WWE United States Champion Theory on Miz TV, then defeated Miz in singles action. After the match, Ali was attacked by Ciampa, who is no longer being billed by his first and last name, just the last. In an update, WWE Creative came up with ideas to bring Ali back just last week, according to Fightful Select. As of Sunday afternoon, plans actually called for Ali to lose the match to The Miz, but virtually everything ended up playing out as planned. Ali was scheduled to be at this week's Raw to meet with WWE Talent Relations head John Laurinaitis and had yet to be informed of the creative plans for his return at that point. Word from backstage is that Ali was more than comfortable referencing his absence and why it happened. He was also noted that several people on the roster and the staff were excited to see Ali back to work. As noted, The Miz referenced Ali's WWE release request during their in-ring promo segment. Ali's WWE contract is up in mid-2024. WWE had the ability to freeze his deal due to inactivity, but they hadn't as of his return. It's still possible that they will extend the contract due to the period of inactivity, but there's been no indication that this will happen. It looks like Ali vs Ciampa will be one of the mid-card feuds on the Raw brand moving forward, but this could also include the chase for Theory's WWE United States Championship. WWE Raw draws lowest audience since January. Monday's live WWE Raw episode drew an average of 1.614 million viewers on the USA Network according to Nielsen via Showbuzz Daily. This is down 2.06% from last week's 1.648 million viewers. Monday's Raw drew a 0.44 rating in the 18 to 49 key demographic. This is down 6.38% from last week's 0.47 key demo rating. Raw ranks number 4 for the night on the cable top 150 with a 0.44 rating in the key 18 to 49 demographic. This is down from last week's number 3 spot. Raw ranked 15 for the night in viewership on cable, and Monday's Raw drew the lowest total audience and the lowest key demo viewership since the January 17 episode. This week's Raw viewership was down 2.06% from last week's episode, while this week's key demo rating was down 6.38% from last week. Monday's Raw viewership was down 9% from the same week in 2021, while the 18 to 49 key demo rating was down 10% from the same week in 2021. The 2021 episode had no major sports competition. Ric Flair claims WWE made video tribute anticipating his death in 2017. In August 2017, WWE Hall of Famer Ric Flair underwent colon surgery, which led to various complications, most seriously kidney failure, necessitating dialysis treatment and ICU hospitalization. During his recent appearance on Ryan Clark's The Pivot podcast, Flair opened up about waking up from a coma after his near-death experience 5 years ago. Quote, 31 days later, I woke up in the ICU, Flair recalled. For 13 days, I was on life support. I had no memory for 6 months. I could remember going forward, but I had no memory of the past. They wrote me off. I was operated on Monday morning. The WWE made a package because it was like a 5% chance that I would make it through. It makes you reevaluate everything, but at the end of the day, I still think that if you're not hurting anybody and you're not being malicious, I don't think it's wrong to have fun. I'm not going to stop. I spent a year worrying that I was going to die every day. Once you've been that sick, I mean, all you do, and it's kind of like getting over that anxiety. Then you start to feel more comfortable. Then I had 1 beer and 1 champagne, and then 2 beers, and then a couple of years now I've been drinking vodka once in a while. I guess the best way to put it is there's nothing left for me to do. I'm going to have fun. My family is all in a good place. So what are your thoughts on today's Wrestling News Roundup? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Be sure to like and subscribe to Wrestling Inc. and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.